Hi guys, I'm back and looking on Craigslist, shopping for an anvil. And here in the Northwest, they're not as easy to come by as anywhere else. Most of them you find are right around 100 pounds, farm use type stuff, no real big production things. But I'm cruising Craigslist and I find this. It's an hour away from my house and it's a 350 pound. The guy has it advertised as a old English blacksmith's anvil, and he wants 750 bucks for it. And I'm looking at the photos and I'm thinking, if it's in good shape, I'd love to have it. But from all the pictures I could see, the edges look pretty crisp and the horn looked like it was in pretty good shape. Didn't know how old it was. Don't know the make of it at this point. And so I thought, I will look and see if there's anything else. There's old leg vise. So I quickly changed my search to just anvil, and I found guitar cases. And this. It's a 115 pound anvil, pretty typical for this area, for 500 bucks. So they've got a few pictures, and I was going to check this one out. And it's about 15 minutes from my house rather than an hour away. So the funny thing is in the photos you couldn't see the tape measures anyway, and I couldn't really make out any of the lettering, so I don't know what it is. And I'm looking at the condition, and the edges of this thing seem to be chipped up pretty badly, and it's rusty, and it's 115 pounds, and I've already got an anvil that's 120, 130. So I was trying to figure out what that said, and I couldn't make heads or tails of any of it. So at that point, I decided to check out the old English blacksmith anvil again. I figured I'd give the guy a call, and if he was home, and if it worked out, it really didn't matter what condition it was in for that price. I was probably going to try to pick it up. And I gave the guy a call and headed out to his place, of course with my camera, but this guy didn't want to be on film, let alone YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, here's what happened after that. Hey guys, so happy today. I was cruising on Craigslist and found an anvil. Been looking for one for a while, bigger one. The one that I use is like 130 pounds, something like that, and I need more of a forging anvil rather than just a farrier's anvil type thing. Anyway, so it's a little bit of an upgrade, but I'm not sure what the thing is. So I've got it here, and I've got it on my scale, and I thought maybe you guys could help. So I weighed it out. It's 345 pounds, 47, and the only markings I'm finding on it so far say HM. So take a look at this. Like I said, it weighs out at 345 pounds, and it's not too bad a shape. It's got a little wear around the hardy hole. Bridle hole's in really good shape. It's got a couple little wavy spots along the edge here, but the face is in real good shape. Not pitted, not rusty. It's got a little divot right there. A little divot right there, and one right there. And I don't think that that's going to be enough to concern me, but from the looks of it and all the pictures I'd have found, it looks a lot like, I don't know, a Peter Wright. It's got the same shoulder configuration here, The horn's about the same shape. The length, from the books that I could find, the length overall is right. The table width is right. This cove right here between the legs or feet is right. It's got this little shelf, and more than anything, it has, it's got this, the hole that goes through the base that was used for tooling, and then down at the bottom towards the horn end there's this other little square hole, and the only handles I've seen that on are Peter Wright's. But so far this thing is obviously hammered. It's got to be a wrought iron thing. It's got hammer marks everywhere the way it was built, and on the bottom it has a square hole, pretty much the same as this one over here. Anyway, the only markings I've been able to find on it so far are right there. It says HM. I'm going to clean the rest of it up and see what I find. So we'll start there. So this thing has all these sort of hash marks. So somebody used it for something, I don't know. And it seems to be on pretty much all the legs. Not sure what that is, but I've got it leaned down on its nose on the floor right now, and I'm looking under the bottom of this thing, and it's got these divots that look like rounding hammer marks, probably from where it was forged. I don't know how these things were forged, but it looks interesting. Do some more research. So on the bottom of this thing, it's got a square hole right in the middle of the bottom, about the same size as the Hardy hole, and it goes in 1.25 inches, about 1.5 inches actually. And then there's the sort of mouse hole in the back. So I don't know. Figure this out. This is the light. This is the front base. And it's no good. And I'm not seeing any numbers or markings. It's just got that hole in it that goes in, I don't know, 1 inch maybe, and then that mouse hole in the front, and those don't go all the way through. They go in about a finger depth from either side, and I'm not finding any markings. It's the underside of the horn. But it's got this where the table and the horn come out, pretty much like a Peter Wright. And we'll, alright, we'll keep going. Okay, so we're going to find out what kind of a plate it has on top. It seems like a hardened steel plate of some sort, I don't know. But what I had done is I just sanded off the tail, the back end, and I'm going to use some ferric chloride. Just put it on there, etch it a little bit, and see if I can find a line to see how much of a plate, or if there's a difference at all. Alright. Alright, ferric chloride, and we got the back of this cleaned off, and we're going to see what happens. Get a little of this on the end of this rag. Alright. Well, I'm seeing something happen right away. I'm going to wipe this off a little bit. And it looks like we've got a pretty defined line that comes up back down over here. So I don't know if that means there's a thin spot in the plate there. But it definitely looks like, let's get some more ferrite chloride on there. I'll let that sit for a couple minutes and see what happens. Get a more defined line on there. And it looks like at some point this was either dropped, it's not cut off, it has been sheared. It looks like it's been hammered on, and that's in a little bit further than the rest of it. Could have been when it was built, I suppose. Alright, let's wipe this off. Let's see what our, and you can definitely see the difference between this, and I don't know if that's by design or if that's just something that happened during the plate forging process. It's obviously got a thick plate here on the sides. I'm a little worried about that middle part, but it has no cracks. It's got no problems. The edges look fairly good on this thing, so well, we'll move forward. There we go, cleaned up. It's got a bit of a sway in the back on the other side, just in front of the hardy hole. It's to be expected. It's a what appears to be a wrought iron anvil with a hardened steel plate on top. It's in really good shape. These corners, these edges, they're not chipped. A couple of little dinguses. There's like one right there. And this edge has been radiused a little bit more. Looks like there might have been a little chip right in there. I don't think this is a repair, but it might have been. But right here in this area, it's got a pretty good sway in it, big dip. Yeah, it's about, I don't know, 16th, 3/32 of an inch. So it's not huge, and for what it is, like I said, I think this thing's pretty old, so I'm not surprised, but I think it'll work great for my purposes. Well, let's get it on a stand. Yay! Alright, so I was doing a little research online, and apparently Peter Wright in England, a long time ago, made his anvils in pieces, and they were forge welded together. And it's looking like this might be a forge weld where the horn was put on. Can't really tell here. This is looking like a forge weld, maybe. Right there, crossed. So I was thinking that this was a patch or a fix or something, but it doesn't appear to be. It looks more like it's forge welded. And then we flip this thing over. Yeah. Alright, in the back side, I'm looking at this area here, but there appears to be some forge welding going on right there, across here. So I'm thinking it was built in 3, maybe 4 pieces. Not really sure. That's the bottom of the hardy hole. It's got, I don't know if that's original manufacturing or something that happened to it later. But it's definitely all forged out. So anyway, that's the name of that tune. Okay, I welded up this little stand for it to sit on. It's only about 16 inches tall because it's 14 inches tall. That gives me my 30-inch table height, face height that I want. But the deal is, we got to get it off that scale and 16 inches in the air. Wouldn't think that'd be too difficult. Stay tuned. This may be funny. Alright, so here's the plan. Ramp, no support under the ramp, all the way down, and right now it's on that scale with wheels. Wheel it over here, put it on the ramp, and walk it up the ramp onto its little platform. I think I'm going to set up a tripod and film this, in case I die. Okay, you know that thing when you were a kid and you built ramps to jump your bike on, and your buddy's like, you go first, it'll work. Yeah, I'm feeling a little like that right now. Anyway, here goes. So you know how it is when you're struggling with something and you're not sure if anything's going to work in a precarious situation, and you're thinking, and right about this point the wife says, hey, can you come give me a hand? No. But the big dog was to make sure it was alright, and that's really all that mattered. So once I got it up there, I welded some edges around that stand, make sure it stayed centered on it. I cut some pieces of heavy leather and put at either end, kind of dampen it a little bit. It has a really loud ring to it. And an awesome rebound. So I tried the magnet trick, and it worked okay. It sounds a little rattly. So later on I got some chain and put on there. So here's the old anvil, and here's a reference. There we go. Hammer, an anvil, not a stump. It's right next to the power hammer, right next to the forge. Okay, so going from that, or not from that, we're still going to use that, but to this guy. So there, and this, much more substantial. I tried it out. It works beautifully. Got a few pits in the top. It's got a little bit of a sway in it right here, but it's a wrought iron thing, and apparently they did that. There's enough surface on there. I'm not worried about that one little area. These guys are a little bit beveled out, but in any case, new addition to the shop. So thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. And if anybody out there can tell me any more about this anvil, who the maker is, or perhaps a date, whatever HM might mean, I'd appreciate it. So thanks for everything. Take care. Most of all, Be safe, guys.